Caitlyn Clark's earnings for 2024 have been dwarfed by tennis sensation Coco Gauff, despite her incredible season on the court. Clark was crowned Rookie of the Year for her performances for Indiana Fever and is now the face of the WNBA. Her debut year saw her bring increased viewership, merchandise sales, and ticket sales to the league. The 22-year-old took home $11.1 million in 2024, with a staggering $11 million coming from endorsements. The salaries on offer in the WNBA have caused controversy, with Angel Reese suggesting it isn't even enough to cover her rent. And it emerged this week that Clark is able to earn more than her salary with a side hustle involving virtual chats with fans. And the gulf to other sports has again been displayed after U.S. tennis icon Gauff became the highest-earning female sports star of 2024. According to Sportico, the American tennis sensation raked in a whopping $30.4 million this year, with most of her earnings coming from off-court endorsements. Gauff, who made it to the semi-finals of both the Australian and French Opens this year, earned an impressive $9 million from her tennis winnings, while over half of her income was generated through various deals. The young star, who reportedly started earning over $1 million as a teenager, has lucrative contracts with brands like Head, Gorilla Foods, UPS, and Baker Tilly. However, it's her partnership with New Balance that draws the most attention, with Gauff seen wearing their gear throughout the year and even having her own signature tennis shoe deal. Gauff is the face of their women's tennis operations and has been featured alongside other sports greats like soccer star Bukayo Saka and baseball pitcher Shohei Ohtani. With her earnings, Gauff joins Naomi Osaka and Serena Williams as the only women athletes to earn over $30 million in a single year. This highlights the financial opportunities in women's tennis, especially with the WTA planning to achieve equal prize money across the sport by 2033. Interestingly, 9 out of the top 15 highest-earning women this year are tennis players. Joining Gauff in the top earners are Iga Swiatek with $21 million, Kwon Won-jung with $20.6 million, and world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka with $18 million. Gauff also made a strong showing with 3 entries in the top 15, while gymnastics, Simone Biles, skiing, Eileen Gu, also made the list. Superstardom has proven to be pretty lucrative for Caitlyn Clark. Sportico reported that Clark was one of the world's highest-paid female athletes, ranked number 10, taking in $11.1 million in 2024. Most of these earnings, $11 million to be exact, stemmed from no money while she was at Iowa and brand deals that started in college and followed her into the pros. Nike, Gatorade, State Farm and Panini have continued their relationships with the Indiana Fever superstar since she was drafted number 1 overall in the WNBA draft earlier this year. Nike is Clark's most valuable endorsement deal. In April, the swoosh signed the future WNBA Rookie of the Year to an 8-year agreement worth more than $3 million a year on average. Other brand partners include Wilson, Henry V, Xfinity, Gainbridge, and Lilly, Sportico wrote. Of note, nearly all of Clark's earnings come from deals off the court and not from her WNBA salary. Clark, who has become the biggest name in women's basketball, can earn roughly $100,000 per year from her WNBA contract if she cashes in her bonuses. Her base salary in 2024 was $76,535. It's far from a unique situation in women's sports, as American gymnastics icon Simone Biles also earns 99% of her money away from the mat, Sportico reported. Clark had an opportunity to add to her bottom line this winter with a $1 million offer to join Unrivaled Basketball, a new 3-on-3 women's league that will premiere in January. Before declining, Clark helped the Fever reach the WNBA playoffs, averaging 19.2 points per game while setting a number of franchise and WNBA records. The Hooper was spotted in Indianapolis with legendary comic David Letterman earlier this week while they were filming a scene for his Netflix show My Next Guest Needs No Introduction with David Letterman, Fox 59/CBS4 reported. Coco Gauff came in at number 1 on the list by making $30.4 million, $21 million of which came from endorsements. The champagne hadn't even dried after the New York Liberty won the WNBA championship when the Players Association announced it would opt out of the league's collective bargaining agreement, which was set to expire in 2027. A dramatic increase in revenues due primarily to the emergence of Indiana Fever guard Caitlyn Clark and other marquee rookies prompted the players to recognize they aren't getting what they believe to be a fair share. The CBA now ends after the 2025 season, blowing up a pay scale that set average salaries at about $120,000, with rookie minimums at $64,154 and veteran maximums at $241,984. Clark's four-year rookie contract under the CBA was for $338,056, including $76,535 in 2024, laughably low numbers given the revenue she helped generate. Clark broke almost every WNBA rookie record, but more impressive was her off-the-court impact. "The numbers are so staggering," said Ryan Brewer, associate professor of finance at Indiana University Columbus, who was asked by the Indianapolis Star to put a price tag on Clark. "They don't even seem real." The WNBA signed a new media rights deal in July worth a reported $200 million a year, more than 3 times the current package. However, a question that will be raised during CBA negotiations is whether the surge in fan interest and revenue will continue or abate over time. That's why the WNBA media rights deal pales in comparison to the NBA's new TV agreement with Disney, ABC and ESPN, Comcast, NBC and Peacock, and Amazon Prime Video. Those outlets will air the league's nationally televised games for 11 seasons beginning in 2025-26, and the NBA will be paid about $76 billion. As this continues to materialize, the corporate side, the business side, not the players' union, but the other sides, are going to continue to watch to see that these numbers can stabilize and maintain rather than just spike and drop again, Brewer said. "That's what they're afraid of. And that's what's keeping the numbers low." Clark, meanwhile, is doing quite well financially despite her low salary. Sportico on Wednesday published a list of the highest paid female athletes, and Clark was ranked number 10, just behind Simone Biles. Clark, the only basketball player on the list, earned $11.1 million in 2024. On top of the list for the second year in a row was tennis star Coco Gauff, who made $30.4 million in prize money and endorsements. Endorsements make up the bulk of Clark's income. She gets $3.5 million a year from an 8-year contract with Nike and also has deals with Gatorade, Gamebridge, Hy-Vee, Xfinity, Wilson, Buick and State Farm Insurance. Most WNBA players, of course, have only a small fraction of that sort of endorsement income. They must rely on their salaries, which many supplement by playing overseas during the WNBA off-season. Only 9.3% of league revenues of $200 million in 2024 went to player salaries, according to Bloomberg. That's less than $20 million. Meanwhile, NBA players share 50% of their league revenue, which in 2023 meant $5.3 billion of $10.6 billion. Few argue against a larger slice of WNBA revenues going toward player salaries, and precise numbers will be hammered out in CBA negotiations a year from now. Until then, the best evidence players can point to would be continued growth in attendance, TV viewership and merchandise sales. Caitlyn Clark took the WNBA by storm this year, leading to record attendance and revenue for the league that started play in 1997. The Indiana Fever rookie also generated a record annual payday for a WNBA player of $11.1 million, with 99% of the total earned off the court. Clark made her list debut on Sportico's look at the world's highest paid female athletes, thanks to an estimated $11 million in endorsement earnings, including her nil money while at Iowa during the first part of 2024. She currently has sponsorship deals with Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, Wilson, Hy-Vee, Xfinity, Gamebridge, Lilly, and Panini. Nike is Clark's most valuable endorsement deal. In April, the swoosh signed the future WNBA Rookie of the Year to an 8-year agreement worth more than $3 million a year on average. Her WNBA salary and bonus, roughly $100,000. Sponsors providing the bulk of an elite female athlete's income is not unique to Clark. Gymnast Simone Biles, $11.1 million, also earns 99% of her income off the mat, while freeskier Eileen Gu makes just 0.3% of her $22.1 million on the snow. Clark's on-court pay set off a firestorm when she was drafted. More fans woke up to the disparity between salaries in the WNBA and NBA. Clark was the #1 overall pick and had a 2024 base salary of $76,535 as part of a 4-year, $338,056 deal. For comparison, the Atlanta Hawks selected Zachary Reister first in the 2024 NBA draft and signed him to a 4-year, $57 million contract, including $12.6 million for the 2024-25 season. The gap is similar at the top of the pay charts for the two leagues. The highest WNBA base salary this season was Jackie Young, who made $252,450 for the Las Vegas Aces. In the NBA, the Golden State Warriors owe Stephen Curry $55.8 million this year. Of course, the different pay is fueled by a shorter season, where the leagues are in their life cycle, and their overall revenue. The WNBA just wrapped its 28th season, while the NBA will celebrate its 80th anniversary next year. 4 of the 6 NBA Finals games in 1981 were on tape delay. That was the NBA's 35th season. The average NBA team revenue is more than $400 million, versus roughly $18 million in the WNBA this year. The new TV deal for the two leagues had the WNBA's share up exponentially more than the NBA on a percentage basis. Yet, even after the WNBA signs its expected additional media agreements that push annual TV revenue to $260 million a year, it will still be less than 4% of the NBA's PACs. Similar gender disparities in revenue and salaries exist in professional soccer and hockey. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert tried to dampen the complaints around Clark's salary by pointing to the additional compensation available. For a CEO, do you just put the base pay in there? Engelbert asked at an April CNBC event. No, you put their bonus, you put their stock options, you put everything. She said Clark could make up to $500,000 this year in WNBA wages. The WNBA declined to comment on Clark's earnings. The collective bargaining agreement has a myriad of additional earnings opportunities on top of base pay. There are award bonuses for regular season MVP, $15,450, All WNBA First Team, $10,300, All-Star Game MVP, $5,150, and several other categories. The WNBA title is worth $20,825 per player, while the payout for the Commissioner's Cup was $30,000 each. Teams can also offer a time-off bonus of up to $50,000 that is meant to discourage players from playing overseas in the off-season. In addition, the WNBA has a player marketing agreement, PMA, that pays players up to $250,000 to serve as brand ambassadors for the league and its partners. The PMA was first implemented ahead of the 2022 season with 3 players, and it expanded to 10 the following year. 6 players were in the program this season, including the past 2 Rookie of the Year winners, Clark's teammate Aaliyah Boston, and Ryan Howard of the Atlanta Dream. 1 player earned the maximum during the 2021-22 season, and multiple players earned $225,000 this year, according to a person familiar with the details. Rookies, including Clark, are historically not eligible to be part of the PMA until after their first season, as the time frame covers services beginning on the day following the last game of such season and continuing through the last game of the following season, per the CBA. The CBA also details a team marketing agreement, TMA, that pays a maximum of $4,000 per week, with a team eligible to spend up to $150,000 for all players in a given year. It is not clear if Clark received any of the Fever's 2024 TMA dollars. The WNBA would certainly love to have Clark under a PMA moving forward, but players sometimes stay out of the program if they already have deep sponsorship ties and off-court earnings. In 2022, Engelbert said that veteran WNBA players could make $700,000 during a press conference after the release of Phoenix Mercury star Brittany Griner from Russian custody. In September, Seattle Storm forward Gabby Williams, who also plays in Europe, denounced the idea of a W player making $700,000. Our commissioner talked about us being able to, make $700,000, Williams said in her end-of-season press conference. That's actually not true at all. There's not one player who makes that. The WNBA pay structure is front and center after the WNBA players opted out of their collective bargaining agreement immediately after the 2024 WNBA Finals. Opting out isn't just about bigger paychecks, it's about claiming our rightful share of the business we've built, improving working conditions, and securing a future where the success we create benefits today's players and the generations to come, Nneka Ogwumike, WNBA president and 9-time All-Star, said in a statement. We're not just asking for a CBA that reflects our value, we're demanding it, because we've earned it. As for Clark, she boosted her $76,535 base salary with several bonuses from awards. The biggest was $10,300 for her selection as All-WNBA First Team. She was the first rookie since Candace Parker in 2008 to be selected. She earned an additional $10,000 in total from Rookie of the Year, $5,150, All-Star Participant, $2.575, WNBA All-Rookie Team, $1,500, and making the first round of the playoffs, $1,136. W players are also eligible for team housing or a stipend to cover rent during training camp in the season. The monthly stipend in 2024 varied from $1,148 in Las Vegas to $2,583 in New York. It was $1,263 for players on the Fever. The WNBA announced the release of their upcoming 2025 schedule and also revealed an unusual mid-season prize that the likes of Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese will be competing for. We're still months away from the start of the 2025 season, but already the stage has been set with the regular season to include 44 games for each team, the most in WNBA history. During the campaign, the WNBA's in-season tournament is also set to take place. The Commissioner's Cup will be played from June 1st to 17th, with the championship game taking place on July 1st, as the regular season pauses to allow the competition to be the center of the calendar. According to the league, all Interconference Cup games will count toward a team's regular season win-loss record. The winner of the tournament will receive a $500,000 prize pool. In addition, the sponsor of the Commissioner's Cup, Coinbase, will give each player in the championship game $5,000 in cryptocurrency. It will mark the 5th edition of the Cup that was first played in the 2021 season when the Seattle Storm defeated the Connecticut Sun. The Las Vegas Aces beat the Chicago Sky the following year before the New York Liberty then took the cup from the defending champions in the 2023 final. A similar feat repeated itself last season with the Minnesota Lynx defeating the Liberty in a preview of the 2024 WNBA Finals. The league also announced the opening games for each team will be played in the middle of May, with the season tipping off at 7:30 ET on May 16th when the Atlanta Dream play the Washington Mystics while the Lynx take on the Dallas Wings. The Golden State Valkyries will play their inaugural game at home against the Los Angeles Sparks. Meanwhile, the first look at the Rookie of the Year Clark comes as the Indiana Fever begins with a blockbuster contest against Reese's Sky in their first game of the season on Saturday, May 17th at 1 p.m. local time. Clark and Reese will share the court on June 7, July 26, August 9, and September 5. The defending champions, the Liberty, host the Aces in a mouth-watering contest. The Phoenix Mercury host the Storm, while the Sun will have to wait until May 18th to open their season against the Washington Mystics to conclude the opening first round of games. A major change will see the finals now be a best-of-7 series rather than the previous 5. The semifinals will still remain a best-of-5 and the first-round matchups will continue to be a best-of-TH.